But I want to step back for a second and ask, why is wealth important? I mean, people will be like, well, yeah, sure, of course it is, but why?
But
And
why?
you have an interesting take on that.
So women watching this, okay, listen to me when I share these three things. There's three things that we don't often think about and why women in particular need to be wealthy. Number one, we make 82 cents to the man's dollar. We're already coming into the wealth conversation behind. So any opportunity that you have to get ahead, increase your salary 20% if you go from one job to the next, all of it matters because we're already short, right? The second thing is women live longer than men do, which means your retirement outlook is longer than maybe your partner or spouse's, right? Because you're going to be alive longer until your late 90s, where someone else might not have that opportunity. You need to have more wealth to sustain a lifestyle for much longer, right? And then the third thing is, Elsa, women are usually caregivers, right? We're usually taking in family, loved ones, a person that's not even your family, but you call them auntie, right? We're usually taking them in a variety of different ways that have not only emotional impacts, right, but also financial impacts. And those emotional impacts too, Elsa, can sometimes show up in the way that we show up in our jobs. So then now we're not showing up fully in work because we're taking on the burdens and responsibilities of others that are also affecting our pockets. It's just a lot, right? And so again, any opportunity that you have to increase your wealth, acquire more wealth, protect your money, it matters more than you can ever realize because of those three areas that I described.
So those are really like the three reasons that women need to be wealthy. And it's not just amassing, bags and shoes and, all kinds of stuff.
No,
there are more important reasons to be wealthy.
More important reasons that aren't always apparent in real time, right? And that's why I like to key in on those, because you're not thinking about the person you might have to take care of and how that's going to affect your wealth down the line. Ooh. Because you might be more concerned with what you're able to acquire today in real time with the money that you have. But sometimes we got to like zoom out. And that's really what I love about the planning process, is that it allows people to pause and zoom out and think down the line of things that they just might want to have funds set aside for just in case, right?
Yeah, that's so important, because there are many of us, like I'm 52 and I share that willingly. But many folks in my age demographic, we are, if we're not, taking care of kids, we may be taking care of parents. Right. So we're like, that's what they call that sandwich generation. And things happen, and you may have had your nice little plan, your 20-year plan, mapped out, and then something happens, an illness or some other tragedy that causes you to, yes, we're overusing the word here, pivot again. And now all of a sudden you've got to tap into resources that you had planned just for you, and traveling the world and visiting 50 countries, before you're 90. And now it's like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Now I've got a loved one to take care of, or, I have a child, or I have multiple children, and now what?
Right. Exactly. Right. Exactly. And I'm a firm believer that we don't have to wait and be so reactionary to things. If there's some level of a semblance of a plan, it doesn't have to be fully fleshed out, but at least having the conversation, right, of what we would do if X, Y, and Z came to pass. How would we even recover? How would we be prepared to handle that? So it's interesting to hear you share some of the things that are happening in that sandwich generation that inevitably may or may not come for all of us at some point, right?
Absolutely.